Good morning, welcome to a new update regarding Bitcoin and Ethereum. We are back in the bull market and we're going to look at the levels that we're watching with Bitcoin and ETH once they break to the upside. We know that many altcoins are already breaking all-time highs. Solana is doing it, Luna is doing it, and also Cardano is breaking up in making a new all-time high. And it's just a matter of time before Bitcoin and Ethereum will do the exact same. So we're going to look at that today in this update, and we're going to look at the fact of which levels should we be watching if you want to enter after this slight corrective move. Also, do not forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel and do not forget to follow me on Twitter and like this YouTube update if you enjoy the content. So, looking at the chart, and I've got the lower time frame chart first here, is that we're looking at a fact where the trend has shifted, right? So even if we zoom in some more, we can see that Bitcoin made a clear breakout above those critical levels that we have here. So yesterday we discussed the fact of we are in support. This one is another one. The fact is that we are holding here and we have to crack this structure of lower highs and lower lows. We've made a higher low, and since then we started breaking up, through which we can see that those critical levels were broken to the upside. And not only the first one at 45k, but also the second one at 46k broke to the upside, meaning that there was strength. And right now, what we see with the price of Bitcoin is that we are hovering again in the overall heavy resistance zone that is facing, that's actually acting as the last hurdle before we're going to break all-time highs. So at this point, this is the resistance zone right now. We also had this one. We've got a slight support on lower time frame, but I imagine that that is going to be lost in the coming period, through which the critical levels that we have been breaking through with Bitcoin are the ones that we should be watching. So anywhere in this region, I'm going to look at a potential case of a higher low to be made. And as a matter of fact, if that is going to be happening, I'm assuming that we're going to test further upwards and potentially even have altcoins running heavily, as those have been bouncing up significantly too. So when we look at the 4 hour, we can see that the critical areas were broken to the upside. We can also see that we've made an actual higher low, through which we've got a hidden bullish divergence instead of like the bearish divergence played out here. We saw some lower highs and we retested support, but we're actually making higher lows, through which continuation to the upside is most likely going to happen. As a fact, we most likely are going to construct any case of a bullish pennant, and then we're just going to break to the upside even more in the coming period, possibly in September, but we're going to break to the upside. That is something that I'm expecting to be happening at this stage. So the critical areas for Bitcoin to be holding are the ones that we have focused on here. And when we look at the higher time frames, we can actually, and I'll just make a clean chart so you are seeing it on a better case, is that what we see here is the bearish divergence. I'll just move it there. Bearish divergence on this price movement, and we are still acting inside a heavy resistance for Bitcoin, right? However, this bearish divergence is only valid if we crack those these higher lows here. So the last low has to be cracked in order to make a confirmation of this bearish divergence happening here. However, given that we have just created another higher low, and given that we have not been breaking beneath the last low, this bearish divergence turned into a hidden bullish divergence, and this bearish divergence becomes invalidated. So the chances that we're just going to move sideways for a little while here before we are cracking up is significant. And what we are watching when we are breaking up, that's the next level around 57.6k, alongside with this entire block that we have here. That is most likely the next resistance zone that we are facing, and then we are back inside this entire range. So once we are breaking back up and we are continuously holding the 44k level as support right now, that is vital. If we lose 44k, then I'm assuming that we're going to have tests around these areas still. So that is the crucial breaker on the downside. But once we break through this resistance zone, I think we're going to have a significant short squeeze. That is mainly due to the fact that there's not many levels in between. So the levels in between, these are not there, so it can easily accelerate towards 55k, which is already 15% move if we crack this resistance zone. But also, if like majority of the people are looking for TP in this region, meaning that once we break through this level, FOMO will kick in. And second, that level is the first real opportunity to short the markets since this bounce back up. So people will be looking, or like a vast majority will be looking for a potential short in that range. Meaning that a short squeeze, including FOMO, will most likely trigger a heavy move to the upside. Such a heavy move would be giving altcoins some pain. I mean, Ethereum is doing well at this stage. We are holding support. We've broken the entire structure here too, and we're currently seeing the momentum to the upside, in which support is holding, as you can see. And in the coming 1 to 2 weeks, Ethereum can just continue running towards the highs in the period that Bitcoin is consolidating. But you should realize that once Bitcoin cracks that resistance, I think that Bitcoin will be accelerating heavily, meaning that the Bitcoin pairs of altcoins will see some pain. So there might be a chance that your Bitcoin value drops significantly during that run, but once Bitcoin is done running and it consolidates again, altcoins will easily move with Bitcoin, and that's the money flow in the crypto markets. So when we're looking at Ethereum against Bitcoin here, we can see that we have got green candles. Support is still holding. We have discussed that previously in the previous updates too, which is a great sign that we can see that even when Bitcoin is making a slight move to the upside and not a very vertical heavy move, altcoins are just moving alongside with Bitcoin. So when we look at Ethereum against USDT, we also know that we were acting inside support, right? So in this case, we made a lower low after this recent low. However, we are still holding a critical level here, which is this daily level around 3k. Plus, we are holding this previous resistance at 29. That is the critical breaker. If that is lost, then I would be looking at 26 next. So at this stage, what do you want to see with Ethereum? Well, there's a few levels that you could be looking at. Defensive, we are looking at a flip around 3020 before we're going to continue moving with Ether. Aggressive would be a flip around 3115, because if that happens, we most likely are going to see continuation to the new highs. And especially given the fact that we are currently facing this resistance zone, if that breaks, so this high breaks and we're going to continue making that movement, and also, as you know, the bearish divergence might be invalidated for Ethereum. If we do crack this resistance zone for Ethereum at this point, we can just start arguing, and we might be facing new all-time high tests, given that there is not much in between. So then I'm assuming that we test somewhere around this zone before we get a significant corrective move, and before we are going to continue moving. As in, if you have such a vertical move, at some point you will be having some pain and some corrections before you can continue blasting further. So then I'm assuming that if this construction holds and Bitcoin is indeed going to break to the upside, Ethereum is going to do the exact same and have a corrective move like this at a later point in the year. So as a conclusion of this update, Bitcoin is looking great. I think the bounce from support is significant, is what we wanted it to be seeing. Should you be entering here? Well, we have discussed the fact that you should be looking at support levels, which we have tested. So that's a good cause. That's a good signal as well for the markets. I think altcoins will be doing great. But I'm assuming that once we are holding any of these levels, we're going to see tests towards the recent high, and we most likely are going to break up towards 55k. So I hope you have enjoyed this small update of the markets. Today I will also be posting an update regarding Cardano. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel as well. Don't forget to like this YouTube update. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you again at a later moment today regarding Cardano. Have a great day.